future? What do you see yourself doing? Do you
More of the same.
More of the same stuff?
I'm still playing lead guitar in a band. I'm making films. I have several projects in the pipeline. I'm still acting. I have an agent in Sydney. I still go to auditions, do all the usual things that actors do. I just want to continue to do it as long as, like, I'm 61 now, and if I can do it, I'm interested to see people like Jack Thompson and others, Mick Jagger, those sorts of people continuing to their 70s and 80s. With the baby boomer generation, I think that's entirely possible because we're healthier, we have been exposed to skills and creative processes that no other generation before us did. So I can see myself doing this for another 20 years, provided I can look after my health.
So it sounds like it's the process, and it's not just getting the job; it's actually going for those auditions. It's practicing. They do wear a bit thinner, particularly when you live in Canberra and you're traipsing up to Sydney all the time for auditions. I actually get more work in Canberra at the moment as an actor than I do in Sydney, because Sydney's very competitive. But my agent and I have an understanding, and for her if she's going to invest in me and continue to put me forward for roles, then she's got to be able to rely that I'm going to keep turning up and keep trying it, just keep chipping away. And things happen, things. So one thing leads to another.
Absolutely. I mean, I went for an audition, or I went actually not an audition, a cattle call for extras for the film Australia, and out of that I ended up as Jack Thompson's stand-in.
Okay.
And worked on the film for 8 months, on and off over 8 months. Now that was because I went along for a cattle call for an extra. Just so happened they saw something in me that allowed me to be a stand-in for one of the lead actors. So my view is, you might go for 10 or 12 auditions and get nothing, and then the 13th or 14th one, something will happen. And that, like that one, led to 8 months of work. So.
Excellent. Graham, if you had to be grateful to one person, now I know that's difficult because there's so many people that help you on your journey.
Yes.
And you had to choose one person, who would that be?
My wife. The thing is, living with a person who's driven and particularly in the creative area, particularly as we're talking about where there's not a lot of money in it, you need a partner who's going to support you and encourage you, and that's what Lucy does. She's very happy to sit in the background. She actually works on set and supports me in everything I do. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't. For example, if I had a different partner who wasn't prepared to support and encourage and also keep me honest when I need keeping honest, and hose me down when I need hosing
when you
down.
go to the other extent.
Instead of all these big visions and dreams that I have, questioning me, testing me, I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be doing the things that I'm doing and be as successful as I have been without her support. So she's it.
And your family, your children, how do they fit into what you do?
Well, they're all left home and they're all pursuing their own, activities and careers. So they don't. Well, my son does because he's a drummer and he plays in the band with me. So we work together constantly. And I've only got one son. 3 daughters. Of course, they're important to my life, but in terms of my passionate pursuits, sometimes they're involved, sometimes they're not. But it's not. They're not. They're not in the core of. They're not involved in the core of what I do. I pursue that quite individually and quite separately.
So they've got their own pursuits that they're
absolutely, yeah. They've got their own lives and their own, as it should be.
Yeah. As an individual, I guess that's what
they're all individuals and they pursue their own things and they don't figure in my creative pursuits unless they wish to be. And sometimes they might say, "Oh, Dad, I'm happy to be an extra in that," or for example, I've got 2 grandkids and my daughter, often I'll say to my daughter, would they like to do X or Y, and she'll say, "Yeah, that'd be great," So
I'm sure.
And all of them at some time or another have been involved in filmmaking. We've worked together in music. We've actually had a family band at one stage. So on and off we've worked together, but it's not something at this stage of my life. Now they're all left home and doing their own things. I don't get involved in their lives unless they want me to, and they don't get involved in mine unless I ask them to or it's appropriate.
I'm sure it's good. It's nice to see them on set if they are involved.
Absolutely, yeah, very nice.
Just one final question, Graham. If everyone, I don't know if everyone wants to, but it would be nice to leave a mark for humanity. What if you had to leave something to humanity? What would that be?
To humanity.
To help humanity.
I think, well, there's a couple of aspects to this. It depends how you define humanity. I think that if we're talking about inspiration, if I leave having inspired people to do things, whatever that might be, I think that's a great legacy, and I'm actually aware that I have, because I get feedback from people quite consistently that I have inspired them, mainly in the creative pursuits. I know that I've inspired people as a father. That's another great thing to leave humanity, is that you've created a family in a situation where you've inspired your children and you've helped them pursue, active
parts of their own choosing,
good lives and paths. That's right, paths that they've chosen. So that's in a personal sense. In a broader sense, I sponsor a couple of children through World Vision, and I'm a big believer in with whatever wealth that you do have, financial and otherwise, if you can actually use some of that to give back, in particular to people who can't help themselves or who need help. And it actually turns out that one of my sponsored children I've had for over 10 years lives in Haiti.
Wow.
And it's just been and he's fine, he's okay. He's 14 now. To me it was a great thing to be able to say that due to the support that we've given him over the years, he is in a place where he not only survives, but he's got water and food and clothing, and when the other one I've got is in Vietnam, and the same thing applies. But in particular, the focus is on Haiti at the moment. So for me, having influenced a couple of young boys who live in absolute poverty in dreadful circumstances, to develop into now they're both young teenagers. If I died tomorrow, I would be happy that I've contributed to two's all I can afford, that I've contributed to 2 lives completely removed from what I'm doing.
So that giving back
Absolutely.
to the community or the society is the important role in your life.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Graham.
You're welcome.
Thank you I'm grateful that you let me interview you, and I hope you've gathered some inspiration from what Graham has said to follow your own passion. I'm HAB Seneviratne from Heal Life. Thank you for watching.